I'm okay. This is not good, not healthy. I'm not okay, but this is normal for me. I just spent the last few minutes trying to purge, unsuccessfully obviously, whatever allergy goo crap is in my system. I coughed a lot of it up in the sink, but it's still above here. The throat is clear. Maybe not the entire throat, but the chest is clear. That's not where the problem is right now. It's all above the neck. I can tell you what time it was. 3:07 a.m. December 23rd. My guts do hurt, but that's because I'm coughing. My body's sneezing or coughing to get this shit out of my system. So what clears this up is the NyQuil, or the generic version. The problem is that, just like with all the other allergy pills, it's addictive. Not in your head, physically. Because when you take it, it just really helps. And so your body's normal way of doing things takes a break. And it doesn't come back until you need it again. Which means it's going to get a little bit worse than your quote-unquote normal before your body goes, oh, hey, I need to take care of this. It's like, oh, well, I can't take care of this. So you wait a couple more days till you're sick and fucking tired of not being able to breathe, and you do another NyQuil. Or you try the Claritin, which is supposed to be non-addictive, but it hardly helps. I'll take a pill, and maybe hours later, if I ask myself, am I any better, I might say yes. Now, you would think that if you were aiming for normal and you felt normal, you wouldn't notice it. So that might be what's happening with the Claritin. I would not have called that snot, nor would I have called that saliva. It is a mixture, and it's just a thick, foamy, gooey nastiness. It's like aliens' sperm in my nasal cavity. It's really fucking disgusting. So, I don't know if this is going to be any better in Denmark or worse, but that's not the concern. The concern is, why do I want to move to Denmark? That's what the concern is. And I just, the cool comparison is that they're like the coolest aliens on Star Trek. You know, if each country is a planet on Star Trek, that's a planet I want to spend the rest of my days doing research in. And they like research. The academia is one of their, you know, their goals and accomplishments. Although they aren't going to like that, you know, Dark Institute thing. I'm going to give them a ration of shit about that. Because there isn't any dark energy. But they seem like a lovely people. And that word really means something because that's a word I don't say a lot. They seem interested and curious, but also, you know, private isn't the right word, but respectful, definitely. I'm sure some of them will feel very disrespected by me sometimes, but they're Vikings. They'll get over it because they know I don't mean it. I mean the dark energy bit. I don't mean to make them feel bad or dumb or whatever. The Janteloven, the law of Jante. It is a fictional town some guy wrote about, where there were these unwritten rules, but they were pretty well established. And then there was kind of an unwritten rule at the end. There's 10, and then there's the 11th one. One of them is, you cannot teach us anything. And the Jante law, if you're not familiar, it's cool, but it can be misinterpreted or reinterpreted however you want it as very negative and hostile. But I didn't interpret it that way. You know, and my first rule is that there are exceptions to all rules. So what would be the exception to you cannot teach us anything? Well, you cannot teach us anything beyond learning what Jante law is, maybe? I don't know. Or maybe if you know what Jante law is, you are not Jante, because you learned how to do the Jante laws. Okay, I did not want that to go down. I don't know if it's actually a physical mass. It doesn't feel like anything's really moving. It feels like things are contracting and expanding inside my throat and sinus. And that's probably, it's swelling up, absorbing all these histamines, maybe, or whatever I'm allergic to, or, you know, maybe it's just my body swelling. That's a scary part. I've always been a very snotty kid, and my dad was pretty infamous for blowing his nose, you know, all the time. I got used to it. When my friends came over, they're like, "What the hell is that?" "Oh, that's just my dad blowing his nose." Because he knew how to honk it out. Even with a mustache. Ugh. Blowing snot into a mustache just does not sound good. So here's to the genetic fuck-ups in the world. That's me sitting up reasonably straight. Now if I do the chest and belly thing, maybe we'll call this one TP rolls. The initial plan, I wonder how my voice is changing. It feels different. Initial plan was to just be in Denmark before I was done with the last package of toilet paper. That was my timer. Like, yeah, that's pretty ambitious, but so that passed, and now I'm working on my second package of toilet paper. And now I've got to use them for snot rags too, so that quickens my timer. And maybe it's an indicator that these guys might actually get back to me, so I can go before I have to buy another package of toilet paper. So this is the shit goes through my head when I'm not sleeping or really doing anything. This is where I open up my text journal. See, I think I had the NyQuil recently, so this is my backlash. So that means I shouldn't be doing NyQuil anymore. That really pisses me off, because it really helped. I'd have to limit it to like once a month. I'm gonna probably try to keep it at once a week. So this is kind of how it was with the migraines too. Okay, maybe I'm trying to get the blepharitis out. The fucking migraines, you take the Vicodin or whatever the fuck they're giving to you, and you don't shit at all. And go, well, it's probably the Vicodin. Lay off the Vicodin for a while. For a while I was trying all sorts of different vitamins. Vitamin B2 seemed to help the most. Turned my piss a bright golden yellow and allowed me to shit. But I had to special order them, and it took them a while for them to get there. And then they'd have to call me, and then I'd have to be available to go down and get them. I mean, I was driving at the time, but it was only this one place, so I had to veer off. It got to be so complicated just to take a fucking shit. That was during my night job. I try to sleep during the day, which worked out during the winter time because I can't sleep during the night in winter. During the day in winter, they have the heater on and the sun is out, so it's heat on the warmer part of the entire day, the 24 hours, the daylit part. So that's the addictive part, is that it doesn't help you unless you keep taking it, and then if you stop taking it, it really fucks you up. I think I understand addiction, and I haven't walked over the edge. I was addicted to the nasal spray. Like, how many times a day can I use this? Because I could not read it on the bottle. He's like, 2 or 3 times a week. So I'm like, I guess 2 or 3 times a day is too much then. It's like, yeah, you're going to have a tough time getting over that. And he was right. That's when I discovered the NyQuil. But that just allowed me to breathe one night, and then, you know, ride the wave of the addiction from the nasal spray. So you got the nasal spray up here, and then you got the NyQuil down here, and where normal, you're at the ground level. I'm sitting on a couch right now. Okay, maybe I can be scientific graphically. A little less hard to understand. Imagine a wave, and then imagine a ramp. Imagine that wave hitting that ramp, and that wave would actually go up that ramp for a little bit, but then it would disappear. It'd fade away. Because its height is now way too much for this steep ramp. Now, Hubble's graph, he doesn't even make it up to the ramp before the wave goes away. The one where they went out to the farthest distance, that wave disappears really quick. and then that ramp just overcomes it. So water, waves, shore, those are the kinds of waves that it could be. Well, the way they've taken this data, that initial wave is us rotating around the galaxy and around the sun. Our rotation and revolutions per day is actually too slow to have much of an effect. So if the universe were flat, in a particular direction we would see a wave. In the opposite, we would see the opposite wave. If we're looking up or down or out or in, and everything is stable, we won't see any waves. The waves only go out that way. And that's because he's looking in all directions. Okay, he's not just looking in the two directions. Those waves are maxima. If he was constantly looking in the direction we were moving in, you wouldn't see a wave. You would just see a constant subtraction from everything. But since he's looking in all directions, it's a portion of that wave. So the wave is branching out, and you don't detect it quite so much in that direction or that direction, and the opposite too. That might be a better way to explain it to the scientists, is the wave thing. Because the engineers understand wave functions. That's what I'm talking about. But the graphical representation is really simple. I mean, that's how I do my calculus in a couple minutes with no numbers. It's graphic. It's much easier to understand. That ramp, by the way, is the acceleration of the universe seen in the velocity. The constant increase in velocity is the acceleration. So constant acceleration would be flat, either above or below the axis, depending on if it's positive or negative. But the velocity from that acceleration would be constantly increasing or decreasing. That's that flat slope. The velocity that's the wave is us spinning around, which is almost identical to the elliptical orbits within our solar system. Why are the planets going like that? Well, because our reference point is not the center of this inertial frame. The center of mass, the center of inertia. Those are technical terms from dynamics. And that's what I need to teach these physics people. I don't know if they have dynamics in their course, but dynamics is specifically titled Engineering 110 here at Sac State. So it's only for engineers, apparently. The quantum physics people will understand the wave description. As far as I can tell from what I've seen online. MIT or wherever they are. Yeah, it's that symbiote in my throat. Symbiote? Whatever. It's like laying eggs and spewing its filth all down my throat. And then it kind of fades away when the swelling really goes away. Yeah, it's just swelling. When someone says it's just something, they're trying to minimize what the issue is, which is they have no fucking idea what they're talking about. You know, like the pain in my left side. Well, that's just your intestines. There's nothing over there that would cause any pain. So there's just no reason for the pain. So it must be in your head. That's my only option. If he's going to tell me that there's nothing there to cause any pain, you know, there's nothing over there. You know, maybe he's trying to do a little mind control himself. It's like maybe I am imagining it, and he's just trying to pull it out of my head. Didn't work. He didn't bother to see if it worked. It's not psychological. Certainly not imaginary. I can imagine better things. That's the joy jar. So, medicated ramblings? I don't know. Pain-free poetry? I like that better. It wasn't ramblings, it was musings. Medicated musings, MM. Or PP. Pain-free poetry. I think my friend 2P will like that. Okay, with the blepharitis, I'm a little too in touch now with when I'm getting really depressed. I mean, being aware of it and going, I don't need to go there, and I can stop. It's pretty cool. But I'm not getting the blepharitis out. I think that's the goal of the depression. That's going to be my claim. Fuck it. So I rather think about things that bring me joy. And it's worked in the past. It doesn't always work when I think about it. Sometimes I'll combine the ones that have worked in the past. I got a big one coming. So, even combining them all, it does give me strength, and it's not, I mean, I can't express it. It's not painful. It is missing. There's a good one. Stop hunching over. The hugs I've been getting from some of these women, I'm hugging you, Julie, and they're feeling it. There's a good one. Get out, you fucking pain. Blepharitis, whatever the fuck. That's my blepharitis ritual. My eyes are damp. And I got out some of the pressure. Also in the nasal cavity. So it wasn't as big as I was expecting, but that, I think, was the big one. So now my temperature's all out of whack. I'm sweating and freezing at the same fucking time. Yeah, my fingers aren't cold to my head, but my head is warm to my hands. And I can feel a little sweat under the arms, which is now freezing, but that's the warmest part, so it can handle the temperature change the most. But it cuts off the limbs. They don't get the temperature from where the limbs come in. And massaging the temples rather roughly. And trying to keep the posture straight. Okay, now I can put my arms down, and they're freezing under my arms. And so that's going to slowly go away, and hopefully this heater that's on now will help before I throw on a sweater, because it's too cold outside to be, I mean, without a sweater inside. It's too cold to be without a sweater normally. That's the thought. But I'm not normal. I gotta stabilize the tiny amount of sweat that's freezing my arm right now. I'm feeling it mostly on the left. I don't know why. It might be that got more breeze or something. I don't know. But lowering the shirt helps. That's a temperature stabilization technique. That's why I'm tucking my shirt up into my armpits all the fucking time. I just figured that out. I've been doing that since I was a tiny little kid. Like, why do you do that? I don't know, it feels comfortable. With it loose, the sweat's freezing me up. So in order to not sweat, or some weird thing, you know, that's just a weird fucking thing in my life. And the barrel chest, and the tumor, and the migraines, and the insomnia, and the constipation. So if I can self-diagnose, can I self-heal? I am self-medicating. That's not entirely healing. The whole overcoming the mental shit that comes along with not sleeping, not shitting. Man, it's really grim. I'd rather not think about the suffering I'm going through. I'd much rather think about the things I want to do in the future. Denmark, physics, engineering, and the tour and Freya. And I think for the time being, the good analogy will be that I am Tour and Julie is Freya. That's you. Because I'm assuming you're the only one that's going to watch this. And they're the Norse gods that we named 2 of the days of the week after. Tuesday and Friday. The first of the god names and the last of the god names. The beginning and the end of the days. The rest of them are for the gods, the sun and the moon, and whatever lord you want to put on Saturday. Okay. So the storyline, comic strip, book, whatever we want to call it, might end up being a graphic novel, who knows, is enjoy the days. Nudene. And that's nud, not nud. It's spelled N-Y-D. The Y sounds like an U, And the D is a soft D, which is an U. It's a glottal stop. Both of those, I don't know. Nudene. So I'm not really pronouncing the D until I say the word dene, which is the days. Dayen is the day, dene is the days. Day being day. D-A-G sounds like D-A-Y. So I haven't revealed a whole lot about that. Even in my journal, I think I need to make it a separate text file and just start writing it. Now I'm noticing the sweat under my arms, and now I'm going to have to figure out, okay, I think what I'm going to do is go change my shirt, because I don't feel like taking another shower, plus it's 3:45 in the morning. How's my fluid sources out? Okay, what I've been distracted by is the last of the coffee. I was out of sugar. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna. I need to pay attention to this now. So I have to refill the sugar container, and that was the last of this bag of sugar. I don't know why, but the powder from this fake sugar just cleared up my sinuses. What the fuck? I don't know, but I definitely have the cotton mouth now. Yeah, there's an alien creeping around in the back of my sinuses. So I may as well do this now, because I'm not going to want to put on a clean, dry shirt and then do this. So fucking get it over with. This is too much detail, but This is how our hero does it. Okay, set this here. So, crazy stoner theory going on. This is coming into focus just as I'm opening my eyes. That's cool. The powder may have dehydrated my sinuses. They're certainly swollen. And now they're dry. So how do I keep that system moisturized without causing swelling? And there's probably some good oil out there that would work. If it like had a protective coating of fat or something, I'm guessing that might help. The vinegar seems to do a decent job at helping with the sinuses. I mean, I was doing artichoke hearts and relish and probably something else, and all of that, yeah, the kimchi, that's all soaked in vinegar. You know, the one restaurant James and I was going to now years ago was serving these cucumbers soaked in some kind of vinegar, and either it was really light vinegar or really strong vinegar. I don't know what it was, but it really helped my system. So I always had a stack of those, you know, whenever I went through the line. It was a buffet. And I've been trying kimchi. I'd liked it, but it is a contributor to the migraines. Otherwise, nice to the system. And see, right now, if I had had the artichoke heart stuff, I would probably take a swig just right out of the jar. And that would help a lot. The vinegar helping with the swelling, and the oil helping with, you know, keeping it moisturized after the vinegar has done its job. See, that's my stoner rant. That's what I think about. I mean, the over-analysis is not healthy. That's what we're told. They just want you to believe them. It's like, no. Yes, I am still intent on changing my shirt. I'll let whatever sweating may still continue. Because the coffee's a really nice temperature right now. And I'm working the posture. And the vision. Yeah, I never much liked the mirror. I just saw some fat piece of shit and just, gotta look in there to pop the zits. That's the only reason I had to look in the mirror. Sometimes I have to center my focus so I can concentrate on the posture. Because I'm trying to get the posture, there goes the energy. I'm trying to get the posture to be my normal, not the extreme. And sometimes that can actually help the sinuses. Just let it stretch out maybe. Kind of like stretching my intestines. Helps with the other stuff. There we go. I edited myself. I see you, yellow blinking light. Yes, energy was dying. You were full when I picked you up. I think it's the refocusing it has to do. It really sucks down the energy. So I'm going to finish my coffee. I'm going to let this run out, see if anything I can come up with before it happens.